too long to edit out. Alright, yep, let's go.
So we wanted to do this video for a few reasons really. First of all, to kind of get it off our chests, I guess. Talking about it is not going to change anything, but keeping it inside can make it worse. The second reason why I wanted to do this video was because as soon as I knew that this was happening to us, I went onto social media and looked for videos from women, couples who had experienced what we had experienced, and I couldn't find any that were UK based. So it might be helpful to someone else because, you know, we're not the first people that this has happened to, and we won't be the last. So just starting from the beginning really. We have a daughter who's 6, and in 2023 we decided to try for a second child. We did get pregnant, and unfortunately we lost that baby. We actually lost that baby at 7 weeks, but we didn't find out until our 12-week scan. That was devastating for us. But we decided to take a year out to recover physically, because it was intense, and kind of find us again and find our grooves. So we took a whole year, and then the end of last year, beginning of this year, found out we were pregnant again. Obviously this pregnancy came with a whole another level of fear because of what we had already gone through. So we kind of tried to detach ourselves away from it, constantly living in fear that something might go wrong. And we then had our 12-week scan, and we found out that there were 2 babies, and they were each in their own sac. They had their own placenta, so we were told that they were not identical and it was a low risk. And in my mind, even though I was still scared and apprehensive of everything, I didn't see anything going wrong, because I thought that because of what we'd already been through, that this was going to be it. So again, we kind of detached ourselves from it, but the excitement of twins kind of overtook everything. And then we started to tell family and friends, but only if they saw us. We wanted to make sure everything was okay. I had some pain, and I was in a lot of pain. Went to hospital. They checked everything. They checked me. They checked the babies. They were fine. Couldn't work out what the pain was, and put it down to just pelvic girdle pain. So I think I spent, was it one night in hospital?
Yeah, one night.
One night in hospital. They sent me home and said that they would refer me for physio. And yeah, so I went back to work, rested a lot, and then about a week later, I come home from work. I picked up a mirror, and I felt a bit of pain. Bearing in mind, for about 2 days, I'd had a bit of discharge, a bit of watery discharge, which I spoke to my doctor about, and the doctor said, it's fine, it's normal. And then I called my midwife. Again, I was told it was fine, it's normal. And then she said, you know, if you're still having it and you're still worried about it, come and see me tomorrow and we'll check it out. So that kind of put me at ease. I waited till you came home from work. And then I went and had a nap. And when I woke up, I needed the toilet. And when I sat on the toilet, it was like someone had just poured a jug of blood, basically. And at that moment, I knew that this was bad. And it's like, in your mind, you're thinking of the worst thing that could happen, but you're hoping and praying that it's not going to happen, and then it happened. So we called the ambulance. They wanted to take my blood pressure and chat, and I was like, no, get me to hospital, let's go. So they took me in the ambulance. I wasn't in any pain at this point. Just obviously really freaking out. By the time I got to the hospital, you got there too at the same time. Got my dad to come and watch a mirror. And they basically checked my cervix and it was open. They said my cervix was open and they could see the sac of one of the twins. At this point, they said there's probably nothing that they could do. They were going to try and contact the hospital in Oxford because they were specialists and see that if they would see me and potentially put a stitch in. But they said they don't normally do it with twins, can be complicated, and I would have to wait until the morning to see if they could do it. So we waited, hardly slept. The doctors then called Oxford in the morning. They said that they would see me. So they transferred me over to Oxford in an ambulance. Obviously they explained all the dangers that could happen. I could go into labour on the way. My waters could break on the way, anything could happen, but we wanted to try and see what we could do to save them. Oxford were brilliant. By the time we got there, we were taken from one room quickly, and we were scanned very quickly. The surgeon came in, the doctors came in, they all had a look. They checked the twins and they were fine. They were still in their sacks. But they said that the first twin was halfway out. So it was too late to put in a stitch. They said that we could wait to see what would happen, but because the cervix was open, it meant that I was open to infection, which could either, like, if it went bad and I got an infection, I could have potentially lost my life or had to have my womb removed. So they were about to transfer us back to Milton Keynes to wait it out. And then I started getting some contractions. So they decided to keep me in. They explained to us that the twins were coming, and because they were so premature that if they did survive the birth, they wouldn't survive much long after that. And at that point, we would have to just comfort them. So I went into labour on the Wednesday, and Thursday afternoon, Layla-Rose was born.
28th of March.
She didn't make it. She passed before she was born. And it's just such a crazy moment when you're in labour, giving birth to what should be a joyous occasion, and it's not. But we got to hug her. We got to spend time with her. But then they had to induce. Is it induce?
Yeah.
They had to induce me. And so I was in labour again from, I don't even know, the days kind of just blended in, but I think another 2 days.
Yeah, you was in labour from, okay, so Layla was born 2:05?
2:05 in the afternoon.
In the afternoon, 28th, and they induced you at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. He done 12 hours.
For 12 hours again in labour with gas in her. And then Anthony Jr was born.
Oh, no. 12 hours. So from Thursday until Friday morning at 5 in the morning is when they stopped. You had that. I forgot
The
what's
drip.
called. The drip, yeah.
Yeah.
Where it kind of forces the contractions.
Yeah.
So that, and then it stopped at 5. Then you slept, and then they started up again. I want to say it would have been 11 or 12.
But it was the tablet.
Yeah, it was a tablet this time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, yeah, literally. So that would have been Friday. Friday late morning. Around 11 o'clock, I think it started, 10 or 11, and then you had to do those tablets. So, and then Junior was born on the Saturday morning at 1:55.
1:55 a.m.
Yeah.
And while all of this is going on, we're also having to speak to family members about our daughter Amira, who's got her, is she okay? So we're still in parent mode while we're going through all of this. Your mum and your sister came up,
Yeah.
and my dad came, and so when Anthony Jr was born, they gave me it was an injection to try and get the placenta out. And where Layla's placenta had been in for a few days, they couldn't get it out because the cord was too thin. So when they tried to pull it out, it snapped, which left me in so much pain. And they said that they were going to have to operate, but I had to sign something. I don't even know what I signed, if I'm honest, because I was in so much pain. So Anthony Jr was born, but he was born alive. He had a heartbeat.
Yeah, but Layla was stillborn.
Yeah. And so they rushed me off the theatre. Elijah came with me, and my dad stayed with Anthony Jr for the first hour of his life. And they had to give me the injection in my back, can't remember what it's called, to make my legs go numb. At this point, I am throwing up. They're trying to remove the placenta. There's a lot going on. There's a lot happening. And you just kept trying to tell me to stay awake. Oh, because when you're a mum, and biggest fear for me is, even though I'm going through all this, I've got a daughter who needs me, so I need to be alive. So I was in theatre for what, about an hour?
I would say it would have been I'd say anything from half an hour to 45 minutes based on looking at the time.
So as soon as they stabilised me, Elijah went to be with Anthony Jr. And he was moving. My dad said he could see like he was trying to breathe. And then they brought me up into the ward, and they put him on me. And
I put him on.
you put him on me. And it was hard because I was so exhausted and I was so tired. And I knew what was gonna happen. And I just wanted it to just be over. And the doctor kept coming in and checking him. He was like, still got a heartbeat. And we were asking at that point, like, if he's alive, is there something that can be done? Can we do something? And he said no. You just have to comfort. So, between the two of us, he was with me first, then he went to you. And then he gave him back to me.
When the doctor came in, obviously I'll say my bit after, but yeah, when the doctor then said the heart, you know, he still got a heartbeat, then I gave him back to you.
And then about 4 o'clock in the morning?
No. About 6.
6.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2, 6. That's when he passed. And the ward that we were on at that time, I believe, was the maternity ward.
Yeah, because there was no one up at the bereavement.
And could hear the babies crying. One of the midwives, bereavement midwives, came down. This must have been in the morning. Honestly, it all blurred. I have no idea what was day and night. And obviously she's talking to me and we can both hear the babies crying in the background, and she said, I'm gonna get you moved. I'm gonna get you moved. There was no space on the 7th floor, which was the butterfly wing. So they moved us up to the 6th floor, and we were able to have the twins with us. So they had what was called a cold cot. And we were able to hug them and be with them. And yeah, like at this point, emotionally, physically, just everything, I'm done. Like, I'm done. My whole body started itching. When the feelings started coming back on my legs, it was just so much. So much. And then it was like, okay, well, what happens next? And next it was like, you have to start organising a funeral. Oh, sorry.
Not to be sorry about.
Oh. So we spent one night on the 6th floor, and we had the twins with us. And then they moved us up to the 7th floor, which was, it didn't feel like a hospital at all. There was a double bed, there was a shower, sofa. It didn't feel like you were in a hospital, which was really nice.
Yeah.
The bereavement team there were amazing. And they asked us about our babies. They asked their names. And they helped us with all the funeral arrangements. They called different cemeteries and funeral directors and got us all the information. And they even spoke to them for us. And then we had to leave because it'd been a week. So from the Tuesday when I went into hospital to the Tuesday after, we were basically in hospital the whole time. And I hadn't seen a mirror. And they said to us that we could take the twins home to have that extra bit of time, but they didn't have a cold cot that we could take, and it would have to be a almost like an ice pack, and you'd have to change it like every 6 hours. And with a 6-year-old in the house, it's just not, we couldn't do that. Obviously we didn't want to leave them, but we had to leave them. And that was so hard. That was so hard. And then it's like, you've given birth, you've been through labour, and you're leaving the hospital with a box that's got their handprints on it and the blanket that they were on. It just didn't feel right. I remember we got downstairs and we sat in the car. I think we sat there for about half an hour, 45 minutes. We just drove home in silence because there's no words. And then we had to organise a funeral and talk to work and sort out home and be mum and dad and tell Amira again, because we'd told her about the first baby, and then we had to tell her. But you told her?
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that?
No. I'm honest with you, talking to the camera, I just find it odd. Just, yeah, 6-year-olds, she ain't gonna, yeah, she just didn't, she didn't take it well. Yeah, she didn't take it well. Then after that, that's when she came to come to see you. felt like obviously that there, I felt like it was the right thing to do, rather than put that on you, not put it on you, but you know, like be there. You're going through it. At least with a mirror, I can deal with it, so you don't have to go up to him. So yeah.
So told a mirror, and we started to plan the funeral. We weren't sure where we were going to put them to rest, whether it would be London, because we're family, yeah, or obviously we live in Milton Keynes, so we have the option of Milton Keynes, or Coventry, which is where my mum is laid to rest. And we got the quote back from London, and basically when you have a baby that passes, or any child that passes under 18, I think you can get a bursary that covers the cost of the funeral from the government. But there is a grey area, so the baby has to be older than 24 weeks in order to get it. Whereas our twins were 20, Layla was 20 weeks and 4 days.
Yeah, 4 or 5 days.
And Anthony Jr was 21 weeks. But because Anthony Jr was born with a heartbeat, he then had to have private funeral. So if they'd both been stillborn, we would have been able to have a funeral at the hospital, or cremation, whatever we decided. But because he had a heartbeat, he had to be registered. And so I had to register his birth and his death on the same day. So some funeral directors would charge. So we were getting quotes. We got a quote from London because it was a private cemetery.
Yeah, the private cemetery. So with well, like I said, I'm not really a fan of the cemetery setup, but I've actually put names out there. James Crook. We're not gonna charge for the.
They won't charge for the funeral.
Funeral. The only thing you got to pay for is the plot.
Yeah. And that was £6,000.
6.5.
£6.5 grand.
But how tight? Yeah. For what you're getting.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, they did.
And then Milton Keynes said they would do everything for free.
Yeah, they do everything.
But we don't know if we're gonna stay in Milton Keynes, so we were like, we didn't want them to be buried in Milton Keynes, and we're not here. So the third option was in the cemetery with my mum. But because we were not residents, we had to pay. It was, I'm not quite sure what it was.
Just under £2,000.
When we went to a funeral director first, and they quoted us like 2,500.
Yeah.
We had to pay for the casket. We had to pay for all these other things because Junior was under 24 weeks. So then the midwives were able to contact the co-op, who said that they could do it all for free, but we would still have to pay the cemetery.
Yeah, to reopen
reopen my mum's grave, because we wanted them to go in. And during this time, found out that my mum's grave was a 3-person grave, so that's when we knew the twins could go in with my mum and having to contact my uncle who's contacting my granddad who's in Uganda and very sick at that time as well. He then managed to sign over my mum's grave to me, and I think we had, I don't know if I said this already, we had to pay 1,000.
Yeah, 1,005, yeah.
1,005 to open the grave, and the only other thing we had to pay for was
getting into the jurisdiction, innit? Was it?
the us not being in the
So basically
being a resident of Coventry, we had to pay again for that. And then I think the other thing we had to pay for were the flowers.
Yeah, flowers.
I feel like there was something else as well. I can't remember.
We'll have break it down in all different sections.
Yeah. So we booked the date for the 23rd of April. And during that time, the co-op liaised with the hospital in Oxford, and they managed to collect the twins. And during this time, we had been back and forth. We'd each gone up there to spend time with the twins and to check on them. You went on your birthday?
Yeah, I'll get to all that because I need to. Yeah.
And when I went to register Anthony Jr. I think we went another time together, and then we got to visit them in the funeral home a few times. And then they were laid to rest in April 23rd. And now, for me, I'm just trying to make sense of it all, and I don't even know.
We'll talk about obviously trying to get back into work.
So my managers have been really good, really supportive. They said that I could come back part-time and I could work 4 hours. They told me to come back after the bank holiday. And I went in on the Monday morning. And just so hard because you don't want to be in this bubble of grief, but at the same time I couldn't shake it off. I walked into the building and like walking up the 2 flights of stairs, the last time I did that, the twins were with me, sitting at my desk. My pregnancy cushion was still there. I opened my emails, and obviously you've got emails from that Tuesday that I sent, and it all just, and then obviously your colleagues, everyone's seen you pregnant and now you're not, and they know what's happened, and they want to ask questions or just tell you that, you know, they're thinking of you. And it just made me start crying. That Monday was so hard. It was so hard. And then I went in on the Tuesday thinking that, okay, I've got over the hardest part. And then on the Tuesday, it just... I think I just wanted to scream because everyone else is just getting on with life. Like, nothing has stopped. You know, work still has to be done and calls still have to be made. And I'm just sitting there like, no. No, 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 no. Like, my world's been shattered and I can't just put a lid on that and continue. So I spoke to one of the managers and I just said to him, I can't be here right now. And he understood. He was really, really understanding. And told me to take as much time as I needed. I went to the doctors and they signed me off for 4 weeks. And it's hard because although I'm off work, you're still a parent. You still have to do the school run. You still have to sit down and do homework. You still have to engage. You still have to, you know, tidy up. You still have to do the washing. You still have to iron the uniform. So still very much on. The day after the funeral, the 3 of us went to Alton Towers. And I know it sounds really weird, but for me, I just needed to scream. And every ride we went on, I screamed. I screamed. And I just felt like I needed to scream. And it just really didn't change anything, but I just felt like I needed that.
Yeah, just going back from when it all happened. I remember obviously finishing the client, and then I just remembered, obviously I'm starting from the beginning, but I just remember you called me, and coming into the bathroom, because obviously it's Ramadan at the time, and so I'm fasting. So coming into the bathroom and seeing the blood, I just remember, like, I had my phone on me at the time, and I just remember slamming that phone like, do you get what I'm saying? And then calling the calling the ambulance for them to come up. Yeah, when they came, I just remember driving, and I was like, I didn't have there was no energy, there was no there was nothing that was going to tell me that this is actually, you know, we're going to lose the twins. Like, I still was positive, still being optimistic about everything. Got to the hospital. They showed me where you were, and then I remember, yeah, like I said, like you said, the woman checked saying about the cervix was open, and I remember I was just still keeping positive. Like, I'm like, nah, you know what? There's a chance. Like, and when it comes to like emotions and all that kind of stuff there, like I said, I hide it. You get what I'm saying? But yeah, I was just, and I remember I don't even think I think I had like a little bit of a meal, and obviously a bit of water. So I'm not even ate or drank properly. I didn't come back that night. No, did I come back to pick up some stuff? I did. Yeah, I did come back. And I remember I got a little something to eat here. Then went back to the hospital. Yeah, stayed like, you know, stayed. We stayed overnight and that, waiting to find out if you could be transferred to Oxford. Even like I said, next day comes, I'm still doing Ramadan, I'm still fasting. And I'm like I remember I was just praying to God, like, because me and you always had this thing about being optimistic, and you know that whole negative and pessimistic, sorry, optimistic and pessimistic, and then there's something that I always use is realistic, yeah. I was not allowing any kind of pessimistic, even the realistic of the situation. I was just gripping onto hope and that faith and praying, and like I said, even fasting as well. I remember I had to go back. I had to come back to get change and everything, and then I remember, because I've told my mum, and then I remember it was like the first time where I broke down in tears in the car. I was like, no, I can't lose. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, I can't lose them. Like, yeah, I was in tears, like feeling some pain, like some crazy pain in my heart I never felt before. I was obviously on the phone to my mum. Mum was on the other end, and then I remember I'm sitting in the car, and I remember you then called. So I said, Mum, stay on the phone. And then you called and said, oh yeah, there's Oxford accepted you, and all that kind of stuff there. Like, and I remember, like, I said, yeah, Mum, they've accepted Nami, do you get what I'm saying? So, I had to chat to you back. And I remember before I moved and everything, I just remember this obviously thanking God. Yeah, I remember I'm still fasting, and I don't know if you, like, what was it, the 27th, that day was hot, and I've not slept. Remember I'm fasting, no water, no nothing. Getting back home, freshening up. Even remember no music or nothing, yeah. Getting myself ready, then you're saying, yeah, just when I parked up, getting back to the hospital, just when I parked up, they said that, oh, you're on your way. So I'm tracking your location. And obviously I'm behind the van for the whole journey. And I just remember just being exhausted, tired, the heat, there's a bit of traffic. Like, I was like, even certain points where I kind of like even dozing off in the road, but I'm like, nah. I'm doing this for for our kids. So I'm not letting nothing, you know, like I'm just gonna just keep myself awake, all that kind of stuff there. Anyway, we get to we get to the hospital, park the car. They put us in one spot. Was literally there for no more than, I'd say, 10 minutes max. Then they said, okay, cool, bring you up to for them to check the scan. They put us in the waiting room, and even for all this time, remember, I'm praying, praying hard. I can't pray like this. Yeah, I don't even know how many times. Yeah, get to the scan, and I just remember looking at them. Obviously, now we know it was Layla and Anthony. I just remember looking at them, and they're fine, they're just moving. And then they said about the cervix, there's nothing more we could do. And you generally, like, there's nothing where, when it comes to Oxford, like, they tried everything, like every single, like, the anger's not with them. That I know they've tried everything. Like, there's experiences in hospitals, and I'm always gonna have my back up, because obviously you being a black woman in these kind of hospitals, so my back's up. But you can see when there's a genuine concern, like you could like, yeah, you can tell. So there's nothing. I've got nothing to say bad about the hospital. They tried everything they could. But yeah, when they said there was nothing they could do, I just remember it's like my heart was just ripped out my chest. Yeah, and then also was in that waiting room. And at that moment, there I said, literally said fuck everything. Like, bro, fast, didn't care. Then none of that. I don't care about none of that. No, nothing. Yeah, like I said, it's angry. It's then obviously that's happened now. We went to, obviously your contraction started, so you're going into labour now. Yeah, then we're in one room, they put us into another room, and I think the contractions stopped. Yeah, this is Thursday morning I'm relating to. So we're there Wednesday, so Thursday morning, I just remember, okay, cool, the doctor's now coming. The doctor said that, okay, because of these contractions are happening, the cervix open, to proceed, we're gonna have to take some drip or whatever to push for the pregnancy, and then
to induce my labour.
To induce your labour, and now to induce your labour, you have to sign something that basically says to terminate the pregnancy. And then I remember looking, and I was like, nah, like, change that word. Like,
words.
Yo, we want, like, you can't save our kids. Now you're trying to say we're ending this pregnancy. Do you get what I'm saying? And then obviously, yeah, like I said, once again, they're all good, but like, he went in there, he's obviously changed the wording. Obviously, legally, he can't change the.
He could take it off.
Take it off. But the reasons and all that kind of stuff there.
Yeah, I think he put like medical termination or something like that.
Yeah, and then yeah, that's happened. And I remember, like, I just remember obviously then your contractions started. And I remember the spa music playing, and that what's it called, like the light thing, you know, when the lights are off and you can see like kind of like have that kind of space kind of feeling. That's all.
Mood light.
Mood light, yeah. Yeah, I just remember even going out. I just remember, yeah, man. I remember going out. Because obviously John Radcliffe has got like it's a big compound, so there's like a big green space. And then I just remember just breaking down hard in the middle of it. Like when I'm telling you, like what I'm saying, like heartbreak, I totally get it now. Because my heart was just on another, couldn't even catch my breath. Like chest was tight and all this kind of stuff there. And then I remember when my mum's called me, I remember speaking to my mum, and I don't even think I've told you this, but I was just saying I just want to die. Like all I wanted to do is die. Like I know leaving the mirror, I know like leaving you by that pain. Yeah, I just wanted to die. Like I remember even looking at certain things and saying like, what can I do to just end this feeling? But obviously, when I say end the feeling, like I've also got doing something that in regards to that will not affect anyone else. But it, like I said, when people talk about heartbreak, I totally get it. And then 205 when Layla was born. Just remember looking how beautiful she was. And I just remember I really had no connection with her. I was just holding her body. The same thing, doing skin to skin and all that kind of stuff there. Done all of that. And I remember just seeing her. Yeah, I just remember seeing her. It's like they were given no chance in life. They was given no chance in life. And then knowing that he's gonna go through this again. Yeah, just remember like just obviously holding her, and then they said, okay, cool. Sophie, her name was the midwife, because she's the one that actually delivered Layla.
Because she got stuck, didn't she?
Yeah.
Layla got stuck and they had to go get the, like Sophie's manager, remember?
Yeah.
To try and help her get out.
Then, and what hurts me as well, like, feelings. What could she be feeling? What shock factor? What stress level? All of these things. And what wakes me is because when I see her arm and her leg bruised, bad bruising, man. And it's like, yeah, she was so bruised. I can't remember if it was right or left. I'm pretty sure it was the left side that she was just bruised so bad. Like her arm, her leg was just bruised bad. That's what hurts me because both Anthony and Layla, but when I think of Layla, like that bruise, it's like my head is just like, what pain would you be going through? What, like this, because I don't fucking know. Yeah, so that's what actually hurts me when it comes to Layla. Then obviously the whole process doing this again. Obviously you had the drip. The drip didn't last. The drip lasted for fucking 12 hours. It didn't work. You slept.
Agony for
12 hours.
That midwife was rubbish as
yeah,
well.
Suzanne. So I don't. Yeah, that's the only bad review I could actually give was Suzanne. She wasn't good.
She didn't mean any malice, but
Yeah.
she just didn't help.
Yeah.
Like, she wasn't in the room. And any time I had like a contraction and she was in the room, it was like, do you want anything hard, like any more drugs or like, and that was it. And she just,
yeah. And then next day was we had Sophie again, and obviously she was trying her best to deliver, the next child, which we didn't know was Junior.
yeah, so at this, we didn't know if we were having
boys or
girls,
yeah.
or we didn't know the sex until they came out.
Yeah. And then yeah, like I said, when Dad come, that's when I kind of like left, and I remember I just remember I said I just need to get out. Now we're having obviously you went to Five Guys. And I remember obviously that ordering the food and all that kind of stuff there. But I'm like, with the cold cut, obviously when the food was delivered and all that kind of stuff there. And then obviously you're still going through the contractions. You have Layla in the cold cot, and I'm sitting, like here. Dad was kind of sitting on the other side, and then I remember just looking at her. And this is shit, like one of the shit that eats me up. But I remember just looking at her, and I just remember, like, I said, I can't eat, man. Just could not eat. Could not eat. And I remember you saying about about eating and all that kind of stuff there. So no, I'm good. But obviously, trying to hold back the tears, trying to hold it together, all this kind of stuff there. Just yeah. And then I moved and sat on the other end, and then I just obviously had it, but it's like that whole labour, which I was there for a mirror, but this time was just traumatizing, man. Like,
because you knew what
I knew the outcome was.
The outcome, yeah.
Then I remember, not long after, it was about 1:55. Anthony Jr was born. You're holding him for a bit. Obviously, while they're trying to take out the placenta. Then obviously I was holding him. I remember feeling him move. I felt him move. And then obviously he didn't move after. Do you get what I'm saying? He didn't move. And then I remember like you going into theatre. This is the shit that fucking eats me the most though. It's because obviously when you've gone into theatre, obviously I know how you are with the theatre and all that kind of stuff. Then when it comes to like black women and you know like all these kind of like healed, like the woman from Liverpool that died not long ago. Do you remember?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So I'm like, I need to be in there with you. But I thought, obviously, you know, we didn't get the confirmation, but I thought he had passed. And then, Alexa's name is the one who actually delivered Junior. She was amazing as well. She came to me and said that, yeah, Junior's alive. And I was saying to myself, what? And I remember looking at you and I was like, okay, cool, they've patched you up. I'm like, okay, you're safe. I need to go see him. And then, yeah, when I went to go see him, straight away backed off my top, skin to skin with him. Just holding him, like feeling him move on my chest and everything. And then I'm like feeling guilty because I see Layla just there. Her body's cold. So I picked her up as well. And then I'm just holding them two, holding. And then when they said that you came out of the theatre, and I was like, as much as I want to hold him, and it's like I don't even want to leave the room, I just want to stay. But I'm like, no, I need to bring him to you. You get what I'm saying? So I bring Junior to you. Obviously, remember you're in the theatre, so you're going through all of it. Like you vomit so much that you actually start vomiting up the green. Like your body's just, do you get what I'm saying? And then literally, I kind of like pushed him onto you to hold him for a bit, and then obviously you started vomiting up the green again. So then I've took him, and then I remember just holding him. Just holding him. Like I didn't feel no movements, so I thought he was he's passed. I'm like, as long as you're in my arms, do you get what I'm saying? And then obviously the doctor come in again, and then when the doctor come in, and he said his heartbeat's there. Like obviously it's fading, but it's there. And I was like, what? Because normally they say it's an hour, and he is fighting.
He was fighting.
He was just fighting. Then obviously I remember it's like my son's dying in front of me. There's nothing I can fucking do, and that's the thing that hurts so much, man. Then obviously he's gone to you. And then obviously he said he moved a bit. And And then obviously doctors come in and said, yeah, he's passed. And then, yeah, literally, yeah, I just remember, I I said, I have a mirror, but I just wanted to die. Like, really contemplating, like, but obviously, because obviously, you know, you're passing and all that kind of stuff there, I'm like, I'm not doing nothing dumb, but it's just the heartbreak. And then I remember, yeah, being in that room, and then I remember just, maybe just sleeping for an hour or two. And then I remember just walking out and I'm like, I've really just gone through this. And then, yeah, then obviously we've gone into the next. Obviously, I know you were irritated with it because your body was itching and all that kind of stuff there. I remember that. And then I just remember going to the next room. I remember it's obviously this Nigerian lady, midwife. I remember she came in and she obviously saw both of them as passed. She saw twins. And then I remember, she could tell she was heartbroken, man. Then we've gone up to the bereavement.
On the 7th floor.
Yeah, on the 7th floor. And we was dealing with Candice and Sarah. They're two Sarahs, and Candice, like, lovely people. They done all what they can for us. And I do remember actually Candice coming down to the labour room, and I remember she was talking, and I'm like, I don't even want to hear none of this shit. Like, my kids are dying, but generally, like, that's at that time. But generally, like, when I was in the, you know, upstairs, and you could tell, like, when someone, I was using boxing terminology, where it's kind of like, all right, you're throwing a punch at 100%, and all she's trying to do is trying to pull that punch. Like, even if she could just take away 0.5% to 1% of that punch, do you get what I'm saying? I've took just something to make it as easy as possible. I know it's hard to get what I'm saying. That's how, yeah. What they were doing. Yeah, so obviously you had the bereavement side, then the whole arranging the funeral. Seeing them in the chapel of, chapel rest. And throughout this time, obviously I have my sisters. They were doing everything they can. My mum coming to show up.
Also, this time you were just lost your granddad.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna get into that. Yeah.
And his
So
funeral. My granddad was sick, and he was also passed.
So on the Tuesday when we
Came
out, the Thursday I was getting ready to bury my granddad. So I lost my granddad in February. So obviously that's the last of my grandparents that's alive. And I remember this being, at my granddad's funeral, being there but not there. Obviously I carried him to the, I didn't carry him in, but I carried him out. I carried him to the grave, but I didn't put him down. It's kind of like I had to keep it moving from then. Obviously when that's happened, we've now went back up to Oxford to go see them. Then I went to go see them again on a Sunday, which was my birthday. I was saying to myself, right, it's the only birthday I'm gonna have with them. So, gonna make the effort to see them. Then after that, obviously you went to go see them, get them registered and all that kind of stuff there. Yeah, even when it came to a mirror, telling a mirror was just like, I took her to a lake, told her what's happened because she was excited about the twins and all that. And then I told her that obviously, you know, they've gone to heaven, and then she just broke down in tears, like bad. There's one day she was bad here, but it was not as bad as
Then you told
yeah. When I told her she was bad, I remember just holding her. She was crying. Yeah, yeah. It was hard. It was hard for her. Obviously, then to come see you. Yeah, but I know it's kind of like, once again, taking as much of the punch away from it. So at least she's exhausted a bit to have that same. After that, the next thing was preparing for the funeral. So no, before, as that kind of got sorted, arranged and all that for the 23rd, they came. Yeah, we saw them in the chapel rest, and obviously now you can see, I'm not gonna get into details, but obviously people have gone through this, they know they're not the same as when they were first born. And yeah, so they changed a lot. It still doesn't change my image of them. I still have the image of when they first come out, so that image is covered, but I just wanted to make sure I see them as much as possible. After seeing them, I just went to, where do we go? We went, that's another thing as well. Like, throughout this whole period, obviously we've got properties that we manage and that, and yeah, we had a lot of during this
the property,
the
fence blew down. One tenant lost her key. It was like everything that could have gone wrong went wrong in this 1 week, and my dad was on holiday.
Yeah. So
we're having to try and sort out funerals.
So our properties, so with our properties, we're literally doing that. It's just pushing that to so going to the chapel rest, seeing them, and then obviously we see them again. I saw them on the day of the funeral, but actually the night of the funeral, I just remember not wanting to go to bed. Not wanting to go to bed on the night of the funeral.
I didn't want the day to come.
And not even that, even when I think of, I just remember like lying here. There's a song that you was on TikTok, and it's like I listen to the song and it just takes me, I get a vision of them in the chapel being on their own. Like, it's mad. And then
and it's crazy because the video I was watching was of a woman who had lost her baby.
That's mad. And I didn't like, do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like, where was I? I was literally lying down and I kind of went away from you.
Yeah.
Then it's kind of like, once again, holding myself from sleeping. So I've literally gone, lied down, and then obviously one of my close friends who I call brother, he's called me. I was chatting to him for like 3 minutes, and I remember just putting my arm literally here. And I know I say this, but I heard voices that I know. Yeah, I heard voices. Then the day of the funeral, gone to the chapel rest again, because I want to be with them every single step. So I've seen them when they've closed the coffin, when they actually talk about what's actually in the coffin, from the pictures to the blankets.
So we got the blankets, we got
everything,
the pictures of us. We got teddy bears, and they had stuff of us in with them. And we all wrote them notes. You wrote them a note, I wrote them and Amira wrote them a note as well.
And then literally after that we went to We went to, obviously they've come to collect us. We made our way up to Coventry where they were. And then once we've got there to the funeral, obviously you've...
Yeah, I broke heart.
Yeah.
And I think...
Yeah, keep talking. Yep, still recording, just making sure.
Yeah, I think kind of up until that point, I had something to focus on or something to do, you know, whether it was, you know, I had to focus on labour, I had to get through labour, like that was my focus. And obviously I'm going through the emotion, but I'm physically having to do something. So that's where I put my mind and my energy. And then it was the surgery. I have to recover from this. I have to have a blood transfusion. You know, I have to physically get better. And then it was like, okay, the funeral, I need to plan, I need to organise, I need to research. So I had something to do. And then when we got out of the car, and I saw, obviously this is a double whammy for me because they're going in with my mum. And the last time I'd seen my mum's grave open was when she was going in. So now I'm like processing the grief of having to bury my children alongside the 7-year-old me witnessing my mum being buried. And I couldn't breathe. I couldn't breathe, I couldn't talk, I couldn't stop crying. And I just felt, in that moment, I felt so alone. I felt so abandoned. I felt like God had just forgotten me. And I just had so much pain. And I just didn't know what to do. And I wanted to stop. I wanted everything to stop. I didn't want to see them go in. I didn't want to see the dirt being put on top of them. That's probably one of the hardest moments in my life. And I've never felt pain like that. Never.
Like, there's a lot more that we haven't even discussed on this. Like, when I say there's a lot more, I mean, it's processing everything. We're just kind of like showing you the highlights of what's about the whole process. Yeah, so obviously once they've gone, obviously I've carried them. Me and Naomi's dad bring them down together. Yeah, and then obviously from there we've gone home. Next day, we took Amira off school, went to all the towers.
Yeah, that was the other thing, because Amira didn't come to the funeral.
Yeah.
Amira went to school. So we got back, we got changed, and we went to pick her up from school.
Mm.
And it was like everything we had just gone through, we just had to
push it to the side.
To the side, pick her up, come home, cook dinner,
Like nothing.
and help her with homework and put her to bed. And it was that night, that's what I said, we have to book something, we have to go somewhere, because I just thought if we stay in here, we're gonna go mad. We're just gonna go mad.
So we did it. We literally done it the next day.
Yeah. Took her out of school. We went to Alton Towers.
And then after, obviously, the Alton Towers, like I said, there's a lot of things that, yeah, like you have to, having to go to the hospital afterwards. Yeah, but obviously we'll leave that for another time. Like all I gotta say is that of course all my brothers, as in like family friends, I know they would be with me, but when I'm kind of going through stuff, even doing this whole talking about this, I don't really want to. It's weird because in a closed environment without a camera, I could talk. But yeah, I know there's, like I said, there's a lot that.
There's a lot that we're still processing.
Yeah.
And for me, I feel like because I had so much to do throughout, I'm now in the part where I guess this is called grieving. And if I'm busy, I'm fine. Like if I'm doing stuff, I'm cleaning. Like I completely cleaned the bathroom the other day. I took out everything, threw away stuff, but then there's moments, and usually for me it's in the morning, because I had the pelvic pain, which was waking me up through the night. When I wake up in the morning, and obviously I'm still sleeping on my side. I guess it's just habit. And I realise when I wake up that they're not here. And that hurts. So unless I'm taking a mirror to school, I don't even want to get out of bed. I don't even want to get out.
That's why I'm kind of getting you into the whole thing of taking her.
I know.
Because I need you out of the bed, because the last thing you need to go through is any kind of depression.
I know.
Do you get what I'm saying?
I know. And like, I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
Because
I'm trying.
like obviously you're not there, but if you're tired, I know when you're tired, and if you're not, I'm like, okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
You're taking her because
when I'm up, then I'm up,
yeah.
and I can do stuff. But
and like I said, especially when I'm not around, that's the last thing you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, what we're gonna do with this, we're gonna cut it from here. We're gonna break certain things down into segments. We've got quite a few things, obviously, to the like.
Yeah, we're still processing a lot of this, so yeah.
Yeah.